certainly in my time as CGS, which ran from early 2003 to the high summer of 2006, some 3.5 years, I became concerned that politicisation of the armed forces, and if I dare say it, particularly the army, since it was much in the spotlight, was something that was becoming a real danger. I think that's completely wrong. The armed forces are the servants of the nation as a whole, subject, of course, to the direction of the duly elected government of the day, but we serve the whole nation.
I think the nature of our Westminster politics, which is terribly adversarial, fueled by a cynical media against a backdrop now of constant distrust in politicians following the expenses row, I think anything is in danger of becoming a political football. And to that extent, unfortunately, defence is no other, particularly where it's high profile. And so there have been, there have been debates in the House of Commons which you would put exactly under that category. But I think when you take front bench spokesmen from both sides aside and you talk to them personally, I think they understand absolutely the importance of defence.
I think unless one's naive, the armed forces will always be seen as a political tool when it suits democratic governments. Where I think the armed forces suffer is the fact that there's a democratic horizon. Every government looks to the next election. They don't think in strategic terms. And the armed forces are a strategic tool to be used in the pursuit of strategic objectives. And if they're simply used to provide leverage for governments, either to gain prestige or advantage in the short term, they will always be used as a political football. I mean, at one stage, I think it's probably not too much to say that every time we sent the Paras or the Marines, it was a political signal to some country or other to say, we're serious. Well, we've got to get over that. We have to accurately measure what it is we're going to get out of the commitment of our armed forces. They shouldn't be thrown into stabilisation campaigns, except as part of total project management. The whole government, the whole country should be committed to intervention, not simply the armed forces with everybody else playing catch-up. And if we're not to be used as a short-term democratic political football, we must have a clear statement of what strategic objectives the armed forces are supposed to pursue on behalf of the country.
Where are we now in this election? I do not so far detect that defence is a issue closest to the hearts of the electorate. I put it as gently as I can. Should it be? Well, I would say yes, but then others would say, well, he would say that, wouldn't he? But I think, where we've been over the last decade or more, and with all the questions about which we spoke earlier in the interview ahead, I would very much applaud if defence was a real issue at the election, was properly debated. I have a sense that my hope will not be that well fulfilled.